Hello everyone, welcome back to CRL. We're doing this for round 2 of the season here in Tier 2. We are at the Netherlands Grand Prix. I am RT and once again I'm joined by Mr. Harry Palmer. How are you doing tonight, mate?
I am good. How are you?
I'm not too bad, not too bad. We're ready for another exciting round of action here as my audio is still too loud. I'm going to turn that down so I'm not destroying everyone's ears. Okay. Yeah, we're here at Zandvoort. A much different track to Bahrain, I'd say, but a track that I feel like I quite enjoyable. Yeah, and interesting enough, this week we have our top 2 drivers who are Taupe and Free Fall finished top 2 last week. They're not in attendance this week, so it'll be a chance for some other drivers to customize. But what are your opinions of Zandvoort as a track, Harry?
I'm not a fan. I find it quite a boring, repetitive track, especially in the dry. Which, if the drivers are telling the truth, it's a full dry race and full dry qualifying session. So, it, it's not the greatest of tracks on a driving. Well, when you're driving, but it might be alright in the comms booth.
That's very true. It's very true. I'm not. It's not one of my favorites either. It's just I don't know. It's apart from the bankings, there isn't really much that I personally enjoy as we're on board with Irvin in the Ferrari. I believe is a reserve driver. I'm gonna go to
I've
assumption
never
he
seen it
is
before, so I think so.
as he comes to the first sector, coming into the start of things now into the middle sector, which is a very tricky and technical part of the lap. You want to be fully committed to here. Kiss that curve on the inside brake just after the 100-meter, but down to third gear. He's taking it nicely so far. Then using an overtake in the middle sector now round and onto the second DRS straight after his DRS, and it's been a clean lap from the Ferrari so far. I'm not too sure what we're in front of the times here. I think it's somewhere. I think for tier 2 it would be around the 1:10s. I think. So he's going to get blocked over the Alpine and the V car just out of the way in time. Comes around the final corner now into the banking. They are flat out from here to the line. Very nice from Irvin. What can he do in the Ferrari? He gets a 1:10.3 right. So my prediction over 1:10.5 time, probably going to be blowing at the water now. We're into 1:10.3 already. Behind him, as is he, who's behind him? I actually do not know.
Diddy,
No
by the looks of it, coming around the final
Did,
corner.
did
Is
he?
the championship from the champion from last season coming across the line, taking first 3/10 faster than Invin. He has moved to wheel, as we mentioned a few times last week, a few too many times by the looks of it. But he seems to be
Oh
picking up
my
the pace as
lord.
Kalen sets
Okay,
a 109.4.
okay, this is why I shouldn't make predictions because they go like this. A 9 minute,
Well,
I want a 9.3. Fair enough, Caden.
we made predictions last week, and Kalen, it was right. The prediction was right that Kalen would win it, and he went from first to last. So.
Well, hopefully he's learned his lesson this week. That's for sure. Yeah, as you said, the top 2 in the championship, Taupe and Free Fall, are not here this week, so that will definitely provide. Actually, I believe the P4. Actually, no, because Fake says M is a reserve, isn't he? So actually, yeah, it would have been Danjo would be the next person, but Taupe was up the line, and the Red Bull goes P6 with 1:10.3, and we do have the return of an infamous member called a Hedgehog. He hasn't raced here since I think 2021. I think was what we were told before this race.
Yeah,
Something like
waiting
that.
for confirmation to make sure, but I think we've worked out 2021 was his last race, which 4 games ago, was quite a long time to not race and then to come back. I'm not sure if it's a one-off reserve or if he is full
He
time back
is
into
full
two.
time. He's full time, I believe. Because I remember him being excited being him as a hobby. So he is full time, I do believe. So he comes down the middle sector now. A very tight and twisty chicane. I just there's something about the strike I don't know. Like it's just I don't know if it's
Seems to
just
be
that
start stop.
corners. Yeah, it is very start stop, and in the race, especially with that dirt year, I don't think overtaking will be easy either. Um, so as McLaren heads up the line, I guess it's the 1:13.1, so much of the times we have so far, but we have Sophie in the Williams and 4 star. I was talking to Free Fall, and Four-Star himself claimed that if he didn't get that penalty last week, he would have up there at the front. So fight and talk from the Haas driver, so see if we can carry that over. I'm not sure if I should have said that or not, but oh well, it's fine.
Said it now.
Yeah, I said it now. Here he comes in the middle sector. On for a 48.6 through there. It's time to come round the penultimate corner. We can draft the 50. They fully committed to her originally a lot of time. If you get bad extra, you're using time all the way down the banking and up to the line. Here comes the Haas now. You get a bit of slipstream from the Williams ahead, but you lose that one up to line 4-star. You lost P2 at 109.7. So far it's Kagan by quite a big distance out in front. His lap of a 109.3, the best so far. As there's a Mercedes a Rapid with no wing. I'm not too sure that happened, but it happened. But he's back into the pit safely now.
Interesting.
So definitely, but this track it's very easy to spin off. And unlike Bahrain, where the wall's quite far away, the walls around here are quite close here, particularly in some corners. So it's a case to be a lot more careful, particularly through the end of that first sector, that right-hander of, I believe it would be turn 5 or 6, I think. So
I should probably pull up a track map and corner numbers for this track, because the amount of corners, I don't know if actually class as corners.
yeah, that's why I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
So.
I should probably put one of them up in a minute. I do want to say, I'm not sure, you can tell it's a new game for Hedge. I believe not using any overtake on his lap. So hopefully when it comes to his fast lap at the end, whoever he's in a call with, or even his teammate, Hobbsy, hopefully tells him, because to be fair, only a second and a half off in your first lap in 4 years is
not bad
impressive. Yeah. But I remember I think the last time I raced at Zandvoort, it was quite a boring race, I'll be honest. But it did get to the end where I believe I had a penalty and caused a bit of an issue, because I was holding 4-star up, I believe, or Hobbsy.
Harry Palmer causing an issue? I never.
I mean, I'm still going to argue it weren't my fault. I was just racing, and it seemed to slow Hobbsy down, or 4-star, whichever one it was. But they're back on the track again now, so.
Yeah, here comes Irvin in the Ferrari round the penultimate corner, using the overtake early there. This is another one of those tracks you have to be careful to manage your ERS, because most of the corners, anchor high speed as Irvin goes P8. And most corners are high speed, so you don't actually save that much ERS, so if you drown it all, then you are going to find it hard to recover most of that ERS.
That's not good news for me, because I don't know if you've ever noticed my ERS management is, to put it the best way, shocking.
I was on the party with you in Tier 1 last week, don't worry, I figured that out.
I was running less than 10% for a good third of that race.
That doesn't surprise me. Another thing that I learned from Tier 1 last year and Tier 2 is that strategy plays a big part. I went for a 2-stop in Bahrain, did not work as Tolbs. Come around from the corner with a bit squiggly on the rear, but yeah. So I think we're on for 36 laps. Again, I'd be surprised if it isn't a 2-stop. But like with safety cars, not who knows. Who do we have on the lap? We've Sophie, I think, in the Williams on the lap. He was one of the drivers. He was one of 3 drivers out of time at the moment as he comes round the middle sector. Has pretty much used all of his ERS already, which is not too good for rest of the lap. Yeah, but Bahrain was an interesting race for tier 2. I believe pretty much everyone did it once up in the end. Now, that said, you did help them, but I'd definitely say around here, it is definitely going to be a 2-stop. I'd be shocked if it isn't. The Sofian up the line in the Williams, what can he set? Goes P12 with a 1 minute 10.5, and then we have Atom in the Alpine, he's on the lap. It'd be the driver, second last driver at the time, coming round the penultimate corner. The Alpine gets on that curb bit, which does tend to spin you around if you touch it the wrong way. So he comes around the final corner, around the banking, gets very close to the wall, but up to the line now. What's he going to set it to? 11.7, up down to 16th. As Strauss is back. I don't think Strauss raced last week. I want to say he didn't. I don't believe he did.
I have honestly no clue.
Always he's just spun round. I believe he's on a fast bit. That's going to cost him that lap, unfortunately for him. As Hobbsy, up in fourth at the moment, he's someone who I made a prediction to do very well last week, and that didn't go too well. So hopefully I'm not going to say
Has
that.
there been a crash in the first sector? I just saw a Mercedes stop on the outside of turn 1
Um,
with, I want to say, Atom?
that would have been
Um,
No, that was Rapid letting his teammate by, I believe, and then let Matt by too. Speaking of his teammate, Kaelin's up by just under a tenth in that first he's an Alpine ahead of him though, so he hoping he doesn't get blocked by him. He give him a dirty air though. That's not. Unless the Alpine's on the lap, I don't know if he is. That's very tight. The Alpine gets it the way eventually, but that would have cost Kaelin a bit of time, I think, with a dirty air. He goes and then, yeah, he's 10 down now. It's cost him nearly 10 and a half, so he won't be happy with that one with a Mercedes driver. He's still going for it though. We'll see if he can get any time to the final sector. Now opening the DRS around in the banking of the final corner, and I think he's going to pit. Yeah, he's coming to the pit, so I think the Alpine did cost him that up. Yeah, and no instance to report last week apart from Jamie's no-show, which was on qualifying because it's collie ban. No instance last week, which was a pleasant surprise. Everyone took it very clean. There wasn't too many things I remember people pushed off track on like that, so everyone was quite clean. Hope that will continue. Actually, both tiers I think had a total of like one report, and that was for a penalty removal. So I think both tiers are actually pretty clean. So that's refreshing to see.
yeah, it does surprise me. But I reckon if there's going to be a crash or a big incident, I'm going to put my money on it being Zandvoort. A tight, twisty, just start-stop track compared to Bahrain, which is a lot of straights and high-speed corners.
Yeah,
Zandvoort
exactly.
is quite difficult, especially if you don't practice. Trying to do it just off your own, it's not easy to do. So if in the likes of Scott, I believe, who came on an hour before Tier 2 last week, I think if he was to do the same this week, he'd struggle.
Definitely, you're right. I think Zandvoort, as you said, Bahrain, you can be a lot more patient because you pretty much every second straight, you're going to get DRS or some form of live streamers around here. If you don't take someone in the first corner, you probably won't overtake him for the rest of the lap because there is a DRS zone, but that DRS zone is quite short and we had to overtake in. So, Boise drivers get a bit more impatient this race compared to last year. You have Craigo in the Ferrari, who showed actually pretty good pace last year. His strategy to go on to stay on soft was a bit out there, but he definitely showed very good pace, and the opening to need that into this week as he comes in the first sector. He is just down by 300th of a second on his time, so not too bad at all. It's the middle sector where you gain and lose the most time probably as he comes out round the long right-hander. And now coming round the left-hander and onto the DRS straight. I'll see if he's up by the end of the second sector. Is he up on his time? He is just up by, I think that's 8,000. I cannot actually see that. They don't look the same to me, I apologise. Now, round the penultimate corner, round the final corner, as I believe Irvin in the Ferrari went P7, so not too bad. But it's very close between that middle pack from Strauss down to Rapid, and now Craigo. It's within 2/10, I think, just about.
Well, if you're going to include Strauss, you've got to include 4-star.
That's
Just
true.
700s
And
faster
then
than
you just have
Strauss.
Kaelin, who is 4/10 clear, and not, so he's checked out at the moment in qualifying. Strauss, we'll watch him in the V carb. On an app, he was up in the first sector. We'll see what he can do through the middle sector. Come around on right-hander. Early on power, nice on power at the end of the sector. What can he do? He'll be up on his time. He is up on his time by 10th and a half, which would apparently put him into P2. But yeah, for Kagan, like we saw him last week, Kagan had the pace, just unfortunately spun it, and that was a prediction which you may have foreshadowed, but anyway, so we're hoping for his sake he's cleaned it up a bit, because he definitely has the pace to be a serious contender this season. Up to the line for Strauss, he goes P2 at 109.6. Good that from him.
I'll be honest, I am quite surprised that there's only a 8/10 gap between 4-star in P3 and Sofian down in P14. There's so many corners, well I say so many, there is, I believe, 14, which is a decent amount for such a short short lap. But to only have 8 tenths between what is most of the field, more than half of the field, or half of the field, is it's impressive. I'll be honest.
You're absolutely right, definitely. I think on any track it's impressive. But yeah, as you said, and even from the Strauss, it's been a second, so it's very nice to see the grid. Because everything goes together, his head improves by a bit to 112.8. He still didn't use ZRS. I'm hoping that people are hoping to get some advice from anyone who he's in a party with, because that would be crucial for him. As Craig in the Ferrari's up by just under a quarter of 10. He goes it wide into gravel though, and he just stops him spinning, but it hits everyone, and that is his qualifying over in the Ferrari. He won't have enough fuel, I don't think, to continue, and his tyres will be shot. So that's the end there for him, I think.
He's got the fuel. If his dashboard on his wheels correct, he's got the fuel. It's just the can he save the 57% ERS that he's depleted on the start of this lap. He, I'm slightly confused. I've just seen an Aston Martin. I assume that was who was that Aston Martin? Wooben, sorry.
Oh, well.
Getting quite close. But yeah, Craigo, if he can save the now 40% before the line, which I think he's trying to do, he's gaining it back quite quick. He might be able to get one more lap in. Yeah, he's got 3.2 laps of fuel, which if that's right, then
they'd be fine. Sofian, the first driver in the Williams, coming to the end of his final lap. Watch him as he comes around the final corner. Which was took the minutes after Strauss has finished his qualifying. He's retired. Currently in P2. We'll see if he stays there or not. In the final corner for Sofian, he will get a bit of slipstream from the Ferrari. Will it improve his time? It does by just over a tenth of a second. And he stays P14 though. Next up, we'll go to Four-Star, who's hoping maybe the challenge for pole, but at the very minimum of P2. In the session, he goes, he's a 10th up, which would be enough to just about put him up onto that front row of the grid. It seems like Kaelin's a pretty comfortable favourite at the moment for pole, so it'd be who gets in behind them. Four-Star around the final corner, goes a bit wide into the gravel, and he just avoids the barrier. No, I think he hit it just about, but his qualifying's over. He'll be a maximum of P3. He'll go on board with Hobbsy next. I didn't see his miss at the time, so I'm not too sure if he's up or not. He's still pushing though, so he's still on the hot lap coming round the penultimate corner. Keeps it tight, keeps it clean. A good exit now as Diddy goes P2 at 109.6 in the kicks out, but Hobbs up to the line. What can he do? Takes P2 back by 1,000th of a second. And that's second, third, and fourth are within 4,000. That is crazy close from those guys. Rafa in the VK up the line, he's down this time. He doesn't set up. As Tobes into the gravel, he's off. His qualifying's done. I think it's a Ferrari or Craig up the line next. He has no ERS left. He doesn't improve his time. That mistake on previous lap cost him. Who was on a lap? The Williams, I guess, as Kaelin set at 109.1. What a lap from the Mercedes. He goes P1 as Irvin in a Ferrari has no wing left. Rapid will be the last driver to set a time around the final corner in the Mercedes. What can he do? Up to the line. It's going to be not an improvement. That is your qualifying. Well, Kaelin, we'll talk about him first.
Tobes is still on a lap.
No, he went off, I think. He's done. Yeah, he's down by 10 seconds.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, we'll talk about Kaelin first. What a lap. Nearly 5 tenths clear.
Yeah. It's 2 out of 2 poles is impressive. I've said that word many times so far this stream. We're only, what are we? 18 minutes in. And I've said the word impressive about 4 times. But 2 out of 2 poles. He did win last week, but can he get redemption this week? I guess we'll find out in about 5 minutes.
Exactly. We look down, you look at P2, 3, and 4 within 5,000 of each other. That is crazy close from those guys. And further down, you look from Hobbsy down to Sofian are all within 8 tenths just about each other, which is crazy close. But yeah, your top team qualifying are Kale, Hobbsy, and Diddy. Diddy wasn't on the pace last week, obviously switching the wheel, but he's back on it this week, which is good to see from last season's champion. But we're going to go into the race now, which should be intriguing. I feel like I'm intrigued to see the starting tyres, because I feel like, again, once again, I feel like the softs are going to be a no-go, as they were in Bahrain. I think we're going to see a mixture of medium and hards. Probably mainly mediums, but I reckon hard tires making an appearance too. But when he started with track, it was around in the 70s, I think, and came back in 2021. And since 2021, there's only been two winners. Verstappen won it 3 times in a row, and then most recently, and Norris won it last year. Obviously, there's McLaren on the front row, so we'll see if that McLaren streak can continue. We're just waiting there for the race, for the formation lap. I'm curious. I was convinced this game was just mainly two stops, but obviously in last week's Bahrain race has definitely made me second guess that. I don't suppose you've any idea of strategy either. I wouldn't say so. Well, it'll be Harry's here at the moment, so I think I'll keep going. We're just waiting for the formation lap to start. Yeah, I'm not too sure how he is though. Hopefully Harry comes back soon. I really think of stuff to say, but yeah, it definitely is a chance for someone to try and get close to the top 10 championship because they are not here this week. And I was talking to Freefall. He isn't sure if he'll be here for the next 2 weeks either. So that could prove a bit crucial to the championship fight as the season is only. Yeah, you're back. Hello.
Okay. I did have a bit of a technical failure. Apologies.
You're all good. You're all good. So I was just asking you. I don't suppose you have any idea of the strategy around here.
No. I was going to ask you the same thing. I was going to ask you about what wings are most likely, because I'll be honest, I've not even touched the track yet.
What wings? I believe from the little time chart I've done, it's very high wings. I've seen like 47, 50, all that sort of good stuff. I think it's really high. But as for tires, you do have a off-the tire conference win. You're Kagan on the soft. That's interesting. I'm quite surprised about that one. And Strauss on the soft. You have Kavagas, Danjo, Rapid, Wuban, and Hedgehog on the hards. And everyone else on the mediums. I don't know. Kagan on the soft is quite surprised. Maybe he wants a clean getaway, wants to stay ahead because he could always do like hard, medium, or hard, depending on his tire allocations. Maybe we'll see how his start goes. If you can keep the lead in turn one, then it could be a decent strategy. And for Strauss and P4, I think he wants to get some early positions. But most of the grid on the mediums, which I don't know. How do you make a cane on the soft for you, Harry?
It's bold. Usually you start on the softer compounds the further back you are to make up for the positions. Just the possible race strategies that popped up on your screen a minute ago. Only 5 drivers are on the hards, and apparently the only race strategies are hard, soft, and hard medium. Which I'm more thinking higher downforce, fast. Long corners are going to ruin the tyres. I don't think a one stop is going to be exactly possible, especially with softs doing I want to say about 15 laps. I can't see that happening. I'm not sure if the game's bugging or something, but there's more mediums than there is hard, so I would have thought the race strategy on screen would have matched that a bit better.
It's a Cold Masters game, so it wouldn't shock me if it's bugging at all. But I think we're lining up now as I can't actually spectate Kalen. I think Kalen might have missed. Did he miss his box?
He did. I think he went too far.
Yeah, he went too far, so that could cost him off the start, especially on the soft tires. Something you don't want to do, but it means you can't spectate him. So we're gonna hope to get some when the lights are coming on. Yeah, we're on board now. That's fine. Okay. Getting ready for 5 red lights here for round 2 of CRL Tier 2, Season 13. And getting ready now, it's lights out, away we go. It's a good start from Kagan. He manages to hold P1, and it's a bad start from Diddy down from P3 up down to P5. 4-star, a good start. Strauss making contact with a kickstart, managing to stay facing forwards. Kagan leads from Hobbsy, 4-star. Strauss, there's some stuff happening at the back. I think everyone's hit relatively clean for now. I don't know. The L5 gets Jamie. Jamie's gone off in the Haas and he's round. And I believe he's front wing numbers. I'm not too sure actually, but he is round. And I'm not too sure if you saw what happened there, Harry.
No, honestly, I wasn't. I believe he's got away unscathed with the wing damage. But I did see Hedge taking it quite slowly coming into turn 3, which it makes sense, yeah, but he is going to start to unfortunately drop out of the train that is forming, unless he can catch back up while it is still quite a tightly packed train. As there is a Ferrari, never mind, ignore me. I noticed, especially off the start when the lights went out, Cavalli's had a really poor start, lost 5 positions.
We did, yeah.
Just looked like he didn't get the power down quick enough, and his car just seemed to just not go, I guess. And he's now behind his teammate Mighty Atom.
You're very right. I did see a bit of comment from Josh about the strategy, but I didn't actually. I couldn't read the full thing. Maybe you can tell us what that is. But Kagan has just about cleared that second window he needs to get out of DRS. It was a clean start from him, even though he missed his grip box. Sorry, he managed to get off the line quickly and maintain his P1. So did Hobbsy P2. 4-star, but a good start up in the P3. Strauss stayed the same. Diddy lost 2 positions. So overall, at the front is pretty clean, and apart from Jamie, everyone was also pretty clean towards the back. So that is good to see. Everyone's kind of getting to the race now. It's a Sauber off. Diddy has gone wide in the middle sector, and he's lost the position to Rafa. Just got onto the curb, I think, and he's off in the gravel with no damage around done. Just probably a bit of scare, a bit scared from him. But anyway, up towards the front, we have a 3-car train for P2. Kagan's checked out at the moment. 2.4
Now, I don't want to speak too soon, but if we're going off of anything last week, he had an okay start, and it did bin it, and he's using quite a bit of his ERS early on in the race, already down to 40%. His car in hot lap for that lap, so I assume going fastest lap while he can, making the most use out of the softs, but he's over pushing, I think, as he has quite a big lock up into turn 4, I want to say that is. He's got a good gap, yeah, and the trains are starting to form, just like it was in Bahrain. You've got 4-star all the way down to Invin, and you've got a 2-second gap between Invin and Craig, the 2 teammates in Ferrari, and then the cars are just kind of in their own areas, down to P18 where Hedges. But yeah, like I said, K1, he's got a good gap, he's pulling quite quickly, but I feel like his softs are going to burn out way too quickly. Same with his ERS, he's using quite a lot of it.
Yeah, you're definitely right there, but as you're talking, Hobbsy lost 2 positions on the last main straight. Went from P2 over down to P4. 4-star up in the second, and Strauss up in the third. Been good battling so far. Overtakes a plenty, which is good to see. We're a bit worried that wouldn't happen, but we seem to be keeping that overtaking theme for now. But yeah, as you said with soft tires, I think we'll see now. But given them an lap or two, I'd say they'll start. As that probably fall off. It wouldn't surprise me if you see those Kagan and Strauss infernally pissed off. Any battles going on? We do have a battle down between Cavallos and Allen. Cavallos trying to make up for his positions lost off the start, but he stays behind Williams for now. Yeah, and he's gone onto the grass there. He's gone a bit wide through the banking to turn 3. Got just went a bit too wide, went a bit too deep, and was onto the grass, and now he has a teamer behind him. So definitely. We've seen a few drivers make mistakes this race already, so definitely a lot more treacherous this race is than what you saw in Bahrain for going wide. You definitely are punished a lot more for that. As Irvin in the Ferrari right in the back of Tobes in the Red Bull, coming onto the back straight. Anyone making moves? I don't think so, no. Everyone's keeping a relatively single file for now. We'll see going on the main straight what happens. Kane's still pulling though. So he's making use of that strategy, but we'll see if Strauss will go for a move on 4-star on the main straight. He has the ERS. He is close. He's been in 410s, but the overspeed get with the ERS. Is he going to go for the move? I think he's thinking about it. He's gaining on the 4-star. He's going to go to the outside of the hash. He breaks very late. Goes around the outside of the hash. Can he make a stick? It'll be on power earlier. Just on the outside now. They're side by side into the turn 2. But 4-star holds on for now. Good battle between those two, but that's just helping Kayan get further and further away. Hobbs in the back with Strauss, but good fire from those two.
Yeah, it was a good battle in turn 1. I'm not sure if Strauss realised, but on the exit of turn 1 when he was fighting side by side with 4-star, he was in non-ERS, which explains the bogging down and losing the position again. He would have had a great run into turn 5, the quite annoying banking, I must say. But it's exactly what we predicted. Kaelin would shoot off into the front with the softs. Strauss, I feel like he's being held up quite a bit by 4-star. which is it's great racing from Foster and the Haas and Hobbsy and the McLaren, but Strauss's tyres is going to take a beating sat behind other cars in the dirty air, especially around the faster, longer corners like the banking. And coming into sector 2 as well, it's quite a lot of, well, sector 2 is just long corners. So sitting behind other cars in the dirty air his tyres are going to take a beating. I reckon he's going to box in about 2 laps earlier than Kalen, just based on tyre wear alone.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. Being in 30 is not going to help the V car at all. He's going to go for the move again on 4-start. He's too far behind this time, but Rafa went for a move on Hobbs in the sector in a quite unusual place. I believe it was it would have been turn 7 or 8, I think.
I believe Lee has might have died. The train is still quite formed. There is a slight gap between Diddy and Rafa forming with. It's starting to close back up now. Sorry, as I would say. The 7/10ths between Diddy and Rafa, I reckon one mistake and that DRS train will start to split again. And you can see cars anywhere down from P10, which is Craig, down to P18. They're just kind of in their own battle. Atom, Jamie, and Rapid,
We're back.
all just in their own little area. As Lee seems to be back.
We have a turn, and I apologize for that. But yeah, I think I was saying before I went to Rafa and the V car went for a move on Hobbsy through, I believe it would have been turn 8 or 9, but Hobbsy managed to hold it around the outside. So we're seeing good battles so far, which I am quite surprised about. I didn't think we'd be getting to go for. But interestingly, 4-star has. I don't think he's underfueled, but his fuel's just about over what it needs to be. So he'll be hoping for a state car to make sure that's more comfortable than what it looks like at the moment, as he's using a bit of the ERS to stay ahead of Strauss. But 4-star starting to close in a bit on Kalen, getting down 3 seconds, whereas it was nearly 4 seconds a few laps ago. So I think the soft tires are starting to drop off. Just that little bit. So I reckon we'll see those guys of Strauss and Kalen into the pits relatively soon for a fresh set of boots. For the fact that you have the Williams of I'm not sure you say it name. I'm gonna call him Angoy because that's easier. I'm not sure you say the first part of his name, so I'm not even gonna try before I offend someone. So I would just call him Angoy and go from there. But Strauss just within DRS of 4, so he's almost lost it, but he just about has it for now. So good work from him. And if you keep the soft tires in check and stay within DRS and stay in P3, he can't make the strategy out of this. As up the front gap and then at 2.8 seconds, so Forza definitely closing in bit by bit. Them soft tires are starting to drop off a little bit. As onto the main straight we go now. Everyone, it needs to be a train at the moment. Everyone kind of sticking within the DRS range, just trying to save the tire, save the DRS. I believe we're going to see Danger though. He's gaining on Craigo. Battle for P10, Aston Martin goes to the inside on the Ferrari on the hard tires. Goes down the inside, Craigo tries to hold on the outside. Danger gives him room. Fair racing with Aston Martin, but he just gets ahead. Go back him. I'm starting to see that the hards and mediums will probably start to come into play. But the first up hard run is in 10th, so the hard run did not have a good start. And then we're hoping they get their get back as we enter the middle part of the race. Everyone, as Kaelin's been caught by another 6/10 of the lap, so 4-star is really starting to close in. And Kaelin hasn't been using his ERS. Maybe he's saving, like you said, because he did drain a lot at the start. Maybe them tires are starting to wear off a little bit. And Strauss he's dropped out of DRS now. I think he might just keep it though onto the main straight. He's using the DRS to make sure it'll be very close now. He does just about have it, so he has it for this lap. But I reckon by the time next lap comes around, he might very well lose that DRS. As the Sauer Diddy has also lost the DRS to Rafa up ahead. And the Williams of Angoy is using the DRS. He did too far back though. Further behind we have Irvin and Tobes. Irvin in the front goes down the inside. No, he doesn't. He thinks better over backs out. Days in P9. You're definitely starting to see them soft fall off. I'm surprised they haven't lasted 9 laps. But here comes Hobbsy as Strauss made a mistake out of the bank in turn 3 and Hobbsy up in 3rd. Good overtake from him. And making Keenberg. Oh, as the V carbs. Strauss and Rafa. And he personally let him through, but Rafa wasn't too sure, so they almost hit each other there. That would have been a disaster down a V carb for him as Strauss goes wide onto the grass and he spun round. Has he? No, he just managed to keep it forward, but he's lost a lot of time and a lot of positions. and that's just going to cost him big time in this race. Them soft tires have officially gone on the V-carb. And yeah, down to 10th now. On 4-star start stage, looking really good, but he's down to 10th now, and I didn't see what happened. I think he just got on the outside curb and just ran wide.
Yeah, I think the softs are starting to die now. You can obviously see Strauss starting to struggle down now, unfortunately down in 10th. But Kaelin's, he's lost about a second a lap here. So one more lap and I reckon 4-star will bring him back in. But it's exactly what I said would happen. You've got the gap starting to open back up again. The gap between Hobbsy and 4-star is now 2 seconds, and the gap between Diddy and Rafa is 1.5 seconds, which it's not going to be great for Diddy. Trying to go for a podium again, bring himself back onto the podium after his championship last season. I'm not sure how the medium's going to be as well in the dirty air, but I mean, as I was saying, the gap's starting to open up again. It shouldn't be too bad, but I reckon if you're not in the slipstream now, the only chance you'll get back in is at the pit stop. And if you don't manage to catch him then, you might be waiting for a safety car, because gaining time around it, it's quite easy with there being 14 corners, quite heavy braking zones, and as we've seen quite a few drivers struggling in turn 8, the long right-hander of sector 2. It's a difficult one to get around to catch up. Just a quick one, Lee, you've got the spectator menu up. If you're here. And I think Lee has died, as Rafa goes for a move into turn 1. And gets the move done before the corner, which I don't think Hobbsy was fighting too hard.
Thank you for hurrying up on those. I'm back again this time. He said Rafa up in the third now, ahead of Hobbsy. The V-carb finds some pace there, and 4-star, as you said, within a second now of Kaelin's, the soft tires have gone, and Strauss onto the hard tires. Interestingly, I don't think he's going to take them 25 laps. I'd be shocked now. So I think he's just going to go hard, medium, maybe. But I reckon someone like Kaelin go medium if he has the 2 fresh mediums, because I mean, the medium ones are easy go. Like if he goes 13 and 12 or something like that, he'll definitely make it on them tires. So I reckon we'll see Kaelin in this lap, and I hope this lap and definitely next lap, because he's taking those soft tires a long way, and he's made the strategy work very well. So fair dues to him. But yeah, flag, that isn't. Is that an Alpine
Rapid,
off?
I believe. It's Rapid
No,
down
it was
in sector 2.
Mercedes. Yeah, you're right, it was Rapid in the Mercedes. Gone off.
Wind looks clear.
Doors.
Which is a good
I think
sign.
it's just a gravel trip. But here comes 4-star on the back of Kaelin. Kaelin will pit this lap though, as I predicted. So he's in, we'll see what he goes on to. But Hobbsy on the back of Rafa. This is the battle for P2 will be now when they pass Kaelin. Hobbsy back up into second. And he gets past Rafa. So some rough takes for Kaelin on the hards. I really hope he's going to take down 24 laps.
He shouldn't do. 24 laps on hards. It's doable. Soft. If he's going off of how he managed to do the softs can go 10 laps. 11 laps, maybe 12. But if he can do 11 laps on the softs, I reckon he can do 25 on the hards. Not easily, I wouldn't say easily. If there's a safety car especially, he's definitely going to box. Presumably for mediums, or if he went for the harder compounds, the second set of hards. But I think the hards not the smartest of options. The mediums would probably be my choice at lap 10. Do a soft, medium, soft, or a soft, medium, medium, even in that case. But yeah, it's a bit. The hards, I mean, they'll go long, don't get me wrong. And it'll start to gain anyway, just with the train down from Hobbsy, I want to say. Yeah, the train down from Hobbsy holding him up. He'll start to catch, yes, but I don't think he'll be making any moves by the time he does get to that position. As Hobbsy has
Hobbsy has
on
spam,
the banking,
and he's lost a bit of his wing. I think he's lost an end plate, and he's down now. In the 7th, Hobbsy was running a very good race. I think I don't think.
And he's got a 10
And he
second
sped.
penalty
Oh,
for
Hobbsy, that's an awful few seconds for him there. Was running in P2, was having a good race, but now he's down, and he'll be at the back of the grid, and he has 10 penalty carry with him, so he'll be hoping for some sort of safety car. But yeah, true. I mean, Kaelin can definitely. I reckon it's possible, and I'm not sure if anyone in chat has done the 20. As in 50% around here and knows whether the strategy will be a one-stop. I'm not sure anyone has, but if you have, it'd be nice to know. Because me and Harry are absolutely clueless. But after last week, I mean, what do we know anymore, honestly? So
yeah, last week was, I wouldn't say a mess, but it was far from a mess. It was a very good race, don't get me wrong. But I think The safety cars played a big part
That's
into the
true.
race, unlike in Tier 1, which had, I believe, no safety cars.
It didn't. It didn't, and I very much wish it did. Oh, it's the Williams of Annoy goes a bit wide, and the Taube is going to go for it. On the other side, the Taube backed off, and I think we're trying to get the run. As here comes the Ferrari Irvin through penultimate corner. You only see an overtake here, but he gets the move. A very good move from him, in all fairness. You never see an overtake today usually, but he gets the move, and in fairness, his head. But here comes Diddy. No, sorry, Rafa and Annoy, and as Taubes is sped as well, and Taubes gets the 10-second penalty. But we'll see what Rafa and Annoy go on to. Taubes on the hards, Rafa on the hards, and Annoy on the hards. So everyone going hard. So I do think people want to try a one-stop here. I really do.
I mean, I can see the one-stop happening if there's no safety cars, but as we said in qualifying, the chance of no safety cars at the Zandvoort is, I want to say, quite low. It's we've seen quite a few cars go off. Hobbsy spinning at the banking, which was questionable. A few cars going off at turn 8 as well, which seem to be the most difficult corners to get right. Turn 8 is quite difficult with no brake marker boards, which I believe there wasn't in qualifying, which could have affected towards the end if you didn't use racing line. But I'm trying to wonder what's gone on with Hobbs at the banking for him to lose the car.
I think he just lost on
Just on his
traction,
own.
probably. I'd say probably because his tires are a bit worn. He wasn't in dirty air, but I mean, the clubbing contact was he could have just lost on traction. It is a very hard corner for traction, to be fair to him. So, or he could have ran wide. You know, it definitely is a corner where you probably see a spin and you wouldn't be surprised. But here comes Rapid on the back of Atom as we see Irvin and Diddy into the pits. Diddy sped as well. That's
Yeah,
3 drivers who are towards the front of sped.
I've just realised something which I probably should have looked up before the race actually commenced. Zandvoort, with it being such a slow pit lane and such a tight pit lane, the speed is actually, I believe, 10 kilometers an hour slower than the normal pit speed. Usually you can just about enter in second gear, as that's what the AI likes to drive in the pit lane for some reason. But around this track, I believe you've got to go in first. It's like I said, slower, but it's weirdly slower, and I'm trying to wrap my head around why.
Yellow flag, it's
Diddy's
Diddy.
span as
It's
well.
Diddy. And that
No
is
wing
a.
now.
We have a safety car, a virtual car. I
It's a
can't
VSC.
actually see it. It's a VSC. If I wanted to tell me that was a VSC, that'd be great. It is a VSC. Which could be very good for someone like Four-Star who's just coming towards the pit lane there. That's going to be great for him. It's going to be great for Craig. It's going to be awful for Kaelan. Kaelan was easy to be in the lead this race and everyone pitted, but now Four-Star will surely pit. He'll have to pit onto the hard tyres and it will help him save a bit of fuel. So this is perfect for him. And it won't be a full safety car, so he'll have a very big gap towards everyone behind him, so it's worked out in his favour. I don't think we'll see Danjo pit on the hards. I think it's a bit early for him, but we'll see. It's Four side of the pit. Absolutely. No, Danjo does pit, to be fair. I think he'll run to probably set mediums.
I think Danjo's going to do the 2 shot now, because I think the hards you have to get to about lap 20 to get onto the end of the race on the 1-stop. So I think he's expecting a safety car, because there's no way the mediums can go 20 laps, 4 more laps longer than he's on the hards. That'll be quite the task for him to complete, as Danjo with Hedges left. I'll shoot him an invite to be safe, but I hope that's not a rage quit.
I don't think so. He's doing pretty well, but as you said, as Wilban's got a penalty for speeding on the VSC, it isn't tracking with penalties everyone's been caught out by. It's pit lane and VSC speed. But Four-Star is ahead. He's in the lead by 3 seconds. Which has definitely, his head is throwing back down for you. No, I think it was an idea or something like that, but yeah, Four-Star is in the lead, so that safety car's definitely worked in his favour. And they'll be hoping to keep that lead, but Kaelan is catching him. Obviously, Four-Star has fallen out of fresher hard, which for now will favour Kaelan. Obviously, the hard tires do take a while to get into their groove, but as we go later on to the race, that will definitely favour Four-Star. Further back, you have Annoy on the back of Mighty Atom, who's one of 2 drivers yet to pit, I believe. No, sorry, Hedge and Ruben haven't pitted either. Strauss on Craigo. Craigo on cold hard. Strauss gets the move and open the P6. We'll see Craigo fights him back though as you go onto the main straight. But
Now,
that VSC is definitely spiced things up.
I am looking. Atom's not served his pit stop yet, and he's going to go another lap. These mediums going all the way, I'm going to assume until lap 20 to go on the... No, because that's backwards. I'm slightly confused as to why Atom stayed out on the
Rafa
mediums.
sped as well. Another driver speeding in the pit lane. It's an epidemic. at the moment, to say the least.
It was bound to happen. It's as I discovered when other cars were speeding, the pit lane is slower than usual. So going from a track like Bahrain, a high speed, long straight track with a faster pit lane to a long sweeping track with higher tyre wear and a slower pit lane is quite the change. I know that some drivers don't exactly have time to practice before the race. Maybe get on for 1 or 2 laps before the race, before qualifying starts. But yeah, I think this track you need a bit more than just a few laps. With there's so many different lines and I want to say different wing angles as well. I reckon you can get away with lower wings, but also higher wings around here. As I believe Atom's starting to struggle now.
Oh
The
my
collision between
lord.
Strauss and Atom, is that giving him don't wing damage?
I think Strauss just avoid damage there, but Atom's been caught about the moment, chasing absolute. I mean, of course he's. I mean, it's a position, so there's no reason he has to move out of the way, and he's got another lap. But Strauss will be happy with that one as him and Krieger go past him. Now, but I mean, if Atom's going 20 laps on meters roughly, and he was on heavy fuel most, I'm sure Dando can do the same on lower fuels, rapid to the fast lap with 12 too. But if almost if it's someone else who sped, we get
It's Cavalis.
yeah, I
There's
know
five
Cavala's
10-second penalties now for speeding in the pit lane. I don't
we should
think
get
any of them
paid every
are
time
not going to be
someone
able to be
sped.
removed either. So if you are doing the one stop, your strategy is effectively ruined. If the safety car does come out, sorry, and you're doing a one stop, you are effectively ruined because once you've served the 10-second penalty, I believe the cone stewards don't remove penalties after they've been served.
No, and even then, if it's a speeding penny, it won't be. I don't think I don't think it would go anyway because usually speeding's pretty good. But Kaden has got to get down to 1.3 seconds. He's closed on four-star rapidly. I think Kaden knows he's making use of his tyres while the other faster ones because I want to get towards at the end of the race as we've just crossed halfway distance in this race. But I want to get towards the end of the race, you will see four-stars tyres will probably come good. So I think Kaden knows he's trying to make do as well he can. But further back, you have Taubes going for it. Sorry, I might have in the pitch. You see, Irvin behind. Atom is someone else who sped. Make that 6.
Well, that's both my teammates. So I hope it's not an Alpine thing because that's both my teammates in tier 2 with 10-second penalties for speeding in the pit lane.
It'll be
I
you
hope
and
that doesn't have
Nathan on
carryovers
Thursday as
to
well.
tier 1.
It'll be you and Nathan on Thursday as well.
Don't jinx it, because I can see it happening now you've mentioned it.
Well, I mean, you won't put anywhere near me, so that's fine. But I'm hoping Nathan speeds.
Okay, right.
That's some shade, though. I apologize. It's all love in the comments box, guys. Don't worry.
We'll see how it is on Thursday when you're hopefully in a wall. Anyway, let's move away from crashing. 4-star, he's still 1.5 seconds. I don't believe Kaelin's gained any time on 4-star since he's come out of the pit lane under the VSC. The VSC did definitely save 4-star though. He'd be a lot further back without it, and Kaelin would, I want to say, be quite far in the lead. Although his tyres are 4 laps older, he might struggle towards the end.
Oh, there's a recab around. Strauss is round. His wing is gone. On the banking as well. I think he turned on the era as
VSC's out.
Another VSC. Yeah, on the banking. I think maybe something similar to Hobbs did earlier on. Hobbs going to pit the service 10 seconds. That's a smart thing for the guys who have penalties to do. Getting the pits down and serve for 10 seconds under the VSC. You won't lose as much time for it. But yeah, I think Strauss just. It was on the ERS, on the DRS, and as he put his foot down, it just went round and was nothing he could really do about it. Another VSC.
Definitely gonna have to look at what's happened before tier 1 because I do not want this happening to me to ruin my race once again, like I did on the final lap of the final. Well, in a good position, I lost it at the final corner.
DRS now, and that was very quick VSC. It's in already. That was very quick, very quick. As Kagan seems as Rafa, another person who sped. That's another one.
Yep.
And he's retired. I can't.
I don't blame him.
That's a second penalty, so as much as we don't encourage that around here, I can understand why, but I didn't. In the chat, I saw Josh was here, I saw Resify was here, I saw Claire McConey was here, and I saw Jamie was in the chat earlier on, so hello to all of you. But yeah, Rafa is the first retiree of this race, and as much as I don't encourage retiring from the race, I don't blame him at all. His second 10-second was Strauss, who was running a very good race. I guess the one thing with him is that with that VSC, he was able to get his wing changed in and out and didn't lose as much time as he would have. As there's a Mercedes around as well in that final corner. So it's Rapid this time.
Andy's lost his wing. Is it going to be another penalty? Another 10-second speeding penalty coming into the pit lane? Let's find out.
He's going very slow. We'll watch him now. I'm very intrigued to see this. No, there you
No.
go.
That might be a record. The first car to not get a speeding penalty coming into the pit lane.
That's someone else around. And that final corner is very tricky, like on traction, especially if you have the arrest of the car ahead and you turn your race a bit too early. It's definitely something to go for, which obviously this is a nice learning curve for if anyone from Tier 1 is watching, take notes because that's definitely something you don't want to do. Interestingly, Hedge and Wheelman are still out on the hards, which could work for them if the safety car says Jamie's off as well on the Haas. He's gone wide. Yeah, I believe that's turn 6 or 7. I'm not too sure exactly of the corner number. He's round. I think he avoided damage. I think so.
I think
it was just a gravel trip for him. But up front, Kagan it's just over a second, but he has used a significant amount more ERS. He's on 20%, 4-star on 55%. So I'd be differently noticed. I presume. Well, what was I going to say? I'm actually not too sure. Fire back, you Diddy on Hedge, the battle for 14th. Diddy going round the outside into the middle sector. Great move on Hedge. We can get it done on much fresh tires. He got traction on the exit. He gets past the McLaren up in the 14th. Diddy, as here comes the Mercedes. Oh, him and Rapid making contact. Hedge just staying ahead for now. Now Rapid will probably be a bit annoyed at himself for his mistake, and hopefully he doesn't do that same thing over here again. He's gonna get on the curb, he keeps straight, but we'll see now because Kavanis is right behind this too. And Rapid's round again. Oh, he's hit the back of Hedge.
It seems to be touching the inside. I think every time I've seen him there.
Curb is ruthless.
He didn't get a penalty that time though either, which is always a positive.
It's a small silver lining. I mean, Rapid was in the points and he was in about 7 or 8. He was actually looking very quick, but now he's going to be. He has been lapped officially. The first driver of the race to have been lapped. As Kavalis going for it on Hedge. Hedge lets him wide. I think Hedge knows she doesn't want to battle anymore with them all tyres, which. And he should be in the pit soon. But apart from that, no road battles. Apart from Alloy is just when the second of Craig out. Alloy carrying that penalty though of 10 seconds, so it could prove costly to him in the end. Yeah, and everyone kind of spread out. Apart from this battle here, no one really within a second of each other. Which around Zandvoort is something you probably are not surprised to see. But Kagan not making ground on 4-star, which you would have to do early on with them tyre differentials.
It's something we predicted, I guess, would happen in qualifying. The fact that everyone starts to spread out. Not really anyone. The only car within a second of each other is Diddy on Wooburn down the straight. I reckon he's not going to go for it. Sure, there we go. No, he's not. He's backed out. It was. Yeah, it's exactly what we said, Zandvoort. It starts to get when you get further in the race without a safety car. It just starts to become a repetitive 14 corner oval, I guess. It's not. There's nowhere to really overtake once you're behind. Well, I mean, Diddy's finding that one out. Coming into sector 2 down the inside of Wooburn. I think Wooburn's got wing damage from somewhere. No, okay, never mind. Ignore me. No, he's not. But it's Zandvoort's being Zandvoort at this point. And politely, I can see why F1 have started to stop racing.
Rapid has retired in the pit, I believe it is. Has he? He has, yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough to him again. Definitely wasn't a race for him today. Had good pace, unfortunately just couldn't keep out of the wall. Close on track right now is 4th and 5th, Craigo and Alloy. Craigo once again showing very good pace on this game. Was quick. Last week in Bahrain, kept free fall behind on much worse tyres for quite a few laps. And he's showing his pace here today. Currently in P4 and very comfortable P4 because obviously Alloy carrying that penalty as well. So Craigo, fair dues to him, he's driving a good race. But I'm intrigued to see with Danjo, because Danjo will take this to 20 laps. He seems to be good pace right now. He has a clear gap behind. So he's doing pretty well for himself. But up at the front, the gap now up to 2 seconds. It seems like 4-stars starting to pull away. And I said during quality about his claim that he would have been in a fight for the win in Bahrain if he didn't get a penalty. But he's proven that right today. And when you can talk, when you walk the walk and talk the talk, you're doing pretty well for yourself. Yeah.
Thought you can do the walk. No, wait, what? Wrong. Okay, never mind. You got it wrong. I know that one, but I've
We
worded the
both
right
should
way, the
just
wrong way.
stop. Oh, Williams of Annoy, that was a lag spike. He's went to the wall on my screen. That was massive. But there's yellow flag. Who is that? It's a McLaren. It's Hedge. Hedge, see?
I
Is he
believe he was
slow?
letting the lead. No, he was blue flagged. Okay, we ignore that.
Oh
Incredible
my
was
god.
correct.
I thought he might have had a puncture, but he doesn't have a puncture
No,
now.
he's just the top
Let
three
everyone
were
boy.
coming to lap him. Rapid has put in the Discord that he was testing no line for this race, so I'm not sure he did it last race as well. Um, but he's starting to struggle with no line around here, which this is probably one of the harder tracks to learn with no line. I can't remember the last time I drove this track the forward way. It would have been last game. I've only ever driven this track on this game backwards,
Reverse.
which I guess
That's
is no help for tier 1.
funnily enough, we are at reverse track next week. We're at Silverstone reverse, so that'd be a new experience for all of us. It'd be quite exciting to commentate over. Although I've heard
It,
that races around there for overtaking aren't actually too good, so I'll have to wait
yeah,
and see on that one.
it feels very different
It does.
compared to the normal track. Quite, of course, they've moved to DRS zones. I believe there's DRS coming into Luffield now,
Yes,
out of
just
Cops. It's
there's out cops, yeah, and they got rid of it on the second straight. I can't remember what the straight's called.
God knows. Yeah, the back.
There you
That's
go.
another.
Another one. Jamie Watson coming in there. He's I think the 7th or 8th driver to get a penalty. So
I feel bad if I start counting, so I'm going to hold my breath and bite my tongue.
I haven't been counting, don't worry. We have battle for P14 between Wheelban and Cavallis. Cavallis gets down the inside of Wheelban, who still hasn't pitted yet. Him and Hedge, the only drivers yet at the box. And I reckon they're hoping for a safety car. I think if Wheelban pits, he won't end up being lapped. So maybe hoping for a safety car next year laps, it doesn't go lap behind him. Because I'm not sure about this game. I know F1 games are very weird, but when lapping yourself from the safety car, they can be very what's the word? Touch and go with Danjo into the pits. Once again, we saw it last week. He was on the two-star strategy. He's done it again here. What's he going on? He's going on to a set of another mediums. He'll be down in, I believe, P6, I think. He'll come down. We'll see if he's ahead of Irvin or not. I think he might. It'll cost him something. This will be crucial with Danjo. I think he's just behind. He is just behind. So Danjo got to make those 3 positions until he get back onto the podium. On much faster tyres, but I mean, comparing this to Bahrain much easier to take on than here, so I have to fight for this one. But one thing on Danjo, not being able to make them tyres last, and he's onto a 2-star strategy. He'll have Irvin in the fry first, which Craig will be hoping that he can do his teammates some favours and hold Danjo so Craig can potentially get a podium. Keep in mind, Danjo will probably be the main thing of excitement in the last bit of racing. Let's just see a safety car out like that. Yellow flag. Speaking of yellow flag, there could be something that's.
I think that was Hobbsy with blue flags again. He seemed not Hobbsy, sorry, Hedgehog. It seems that when he's letting cars through, he seems to just stop or go incredibly slowly on exit, which he's getting out of the way. Fair enough. It's his first race back in I can't remember 4 years. Did we say?
Like
So getting back into the rhythm, I reckon. Give it a few weeks, end of the season, and he'll have a bit more pace as he comes into the pit lane. I'm not sure if this is to retire or to box for his first time, which I think he's boxing.
He's just boxing. Yeah, he hasn't retired. I don't think he'll retire. Yeah, fair, but I mean, it also could be like maybe he isn't worried you ghosting you and being lapped. I'm not too sure. But the Hedge still in the race on his return after 4 years. It definitely isn't easy coming back. I doubt with work and stuff. He's had very much time to practice, so he's doing well. He's still in the race on the soft tyres. We'll see what he can do in the final. 89 after stall, but Ivanoli and Craigo and Danjo and Irvin, the two, as Jamie to the fast lap. He's just inside the points at the moment, but yeah, we'll see. Ivanoli just within the rest and Danjo on the fresh medium tyres. Bit further back. Him and Irvin are running with the same ERS, so it will be purely a traction battle as we'll ban with another 10-second in this race. Another person onto that list. We're racking them up on this yellow flag. That is Tobes.
Tobes has gone off.
Tobes has gone off in the red, but I can't see if he sustained wing damage or not. I'm not too sure.
No, I think he's clear of wing damage. He just looked like he lost it. He wasn't fighting. I noticed he was near Hedgehog, so I don't know if he got put off by him slightly, but he's got no damage, so I don't suggest there was any collision.
Let's go. Here comes Danjo on Irvin. He flies past the Ferrari, and Irvin Kunde must have his teammate up ahead there with Danjo now up in the P5. And looking to charge up that podium spot now. As further behind, you've Strauss and Sophie. And Strauss, considering the race Strauss has had, starting on softs, he spun twice. A P7 at the moment, what it looks like it wouldn't be too bad. There's the Alpha again. That is. Who is that?
Some
That
pit
was.
entries. Hobbsy, Hedgehog, sorry, on pit entry. Is he boxing
Hedge.
again? I think he's gone onto the wrong tyres. Oh,
He
he's,
has
yeah, I
retired.
think he went onto the softs, went onto the wrong tyres, and is now boxed to retire the car.
I believe he had wing damage too. I saw the curb hands being. That could have also been it. But I feel bad for the Williams of Hanoi. Very good race he's ran. But been there with Craig. With a 10-second penalty, he will definitely not get on the podium unless it's like a safety car or something like that. So at the moment he's on track to finish P6, which still wouldn't be bad. But could have been so much more. It's four. I've already mentioned the front two. They've been so far ahead, 16 seconds ahead. Okay, to be exact, but 4-star checked out now. The gap is 4 seconds up front, so 4-star looking comfortable to win this race. Unless a mistake occurs, as I'm only on the back of a dynamo to the fast lap. He's on a charge at the moment. He's gained, I believe that was something like over a second on that lap. The car's ahead, so he's gaining rapidly. And
Yeah.
looking to climb back to speed 3.
It's. I'm gonna say it again for maybe hopefully the last time. Zandvoort is. It's not good for racing. I don't personally believe we've got one car out of 15, or it would have been 18. Or even then, I reckon the 18 cars. There's no real battling going on. It's mostly strategy and who can keep the car on the track, which I guess makes for a good track. But there's not really anywhere to make overtakes apart from the 2 DRS straights. They're running that high of a wing. You can't get any battling done.
If we couldn't, though, Harry's not a fan of Zandvoort, in case that wasn't
Neither are you.
obvious.
No, it's just it's. I've never been able to get to grips with Zambot. I mean, I'm especially confused by the well, now quite a few spins and crashes at the final corner around the banking. Obviously, it's touching the curb that makes you spin, but I've never seen it that aggressive on the previous games since Zandvoort's been on the F1 series.
I mean, that's a fair point. Me neither, to be honest with you. I'm not going to disagree. I haven't either, so I think either. But Danjo's caught another 1.7 seconds, I think it wasn't after he's gaining rapidly. And Craig will be hoping that the Williams behind him can do a job, but you know, he'll have the ERS there, and they're all on similar ERS levels. So Craig will be hoping that Alloy can defend from the Aston Martin behind. Further back, you have Tobes, who is chasing Atom for P10. Yeah, and the last few laps now, that other podium will probably become interesting in a lap or so. So we're just kind of waiting for that to occur. With Tobes on the back of Atom, we're just going to close in on the Alpine. This battle for P10. I think Atom is 10 seconds as well, though. So yeah, 5 drivers who have not been able to serve their 10 seconds. But yeah, so far, obviously a few more offs, but in terms of military racing, another very clean race, which has been very good to see. The drivers are definitely set up a notch in terms of driving clean, so it's very good to see. But Danjo now within, as Hobbsy gets past Sofian, Hobbsy past the Williams, open the 8th, and be maybe chase down the Strauss, but I think obviously I'm not too sure. I think he's too far back actually, 9 seconds. I don't think so. Sofian will get. I wonder how James's fuel is doing. 4-star, sorry. He's not in yellow. I can't actually.
He's on
see his fuel.
0.1. He's got 4.5 laps left, and there's 3.25 laps left of the race.
Okay,
There's
so
no
it's
more
okay.
safety cars from now, so anyone with a yellow fuel is gonna definitely start struggle. Sofian being one of them. I think he's half a lap under.
Oh, that's not good.
Never mind, no he's not. I can't really tell. He's got 4 laps left. I don't think Sofian's gonna make the end of the race. Because he's got 4.2 laps left of fuel. And he's on lap 32. Sofian might struggle to get this one, I think.
I definitely get you, but a 4-star seems to be fine in that regard. I wonder how Kane's tyres are doing. There'll be 24 laps over the time we finished. I mean, they can't be looking good, I'll tell you that much. Is a polite way of putting it, so if I was him, I'd just drive a bit slowly. I mean, he has a 40-second buffer behind you. I mean, He could lose 2 seconds per lap now and he'd still be fine. It's just about getting the car at the end and securing the P2. He would have been probably a bit annoyed with the VSC, but I reckon with James's pace he would have caught him anyway. By the looks of it.
Four-star's been on some almighty pace all race. He's now got a nearly 10-second gap to Kalen.
I think Kalen is listening to us though and backing off because he's losing.
Oh, there's a big crash down the straight. There's been, I think there was a 3-car crash down the straight. I think one just weaved into the other, and it caused a bit of a chain reaction as Jamie span at turn 1.
Jamie has span on the exit. He's gone to the wall. He lost a bit of front wing. I'm not too sure, but he's round. As 4 stars opening 10 seconds, but the battle for P3 is on. Danjo's caught up to Annoy and to Craigo, and Craigo will be hoping that the Williams keep in mind what we're seeing now as we go onto the main straight. The Williams has DRS as well, so there won't be an easy overtake for Danjo. He's going to get onto the main straight, use the DRS, he's using the overtake. He's gaining on the Williams, he's going to go to the inside, and he's going to get the move on him. He is, but the Williams trying to hold it on the outside, he can't. So Danjo's now up in the P4, and you think it's going to be a matter of time before we get past that Ferrari. As we're on the third to last lap of the race, 4-star now checked out at the front. That's for sure. But I think it's the case of Kalen definitely backing off. He lost only 2 seconds on that lap, I think, to Grego. So I think Kalen's definitely just trying to get that car home. But the battle for the podium is what's going to interest us now. The final 2 laps. Danjo on the back of Craigo. Craigo will be. The best thing Craigo can do is try and save his ERS and just make sure he gets good traction on the straights, which would be hard compared to Danjo on much fresher mediums. Jamie into the pit as Jamie has retired from the races. Cavales will be your last point scored moment, I believe. We'll see though at the front here. Craigo has a buffer, and he has more ERS compared to Danjo. We'll see on the back straight. Danjo hasn't done a great exit, so I think have to hold back this up. We'll see Craigo using his ERS, and he's okay for this lap. I think we'll see but Danjo's gaining. No, he's gaining. Never mind. The Aston Martin could go for it here into turn 1. He's close enough to go for it, and he makes the move. The better grip on the exit, sure you can make the move stick. The Ferrari's trying to hold it though, and Danjo's through. He's made this strategy work, and he's now up into P3. And if there was an extra lap or 2, I'd say he definitely could catch Kalen. But with a lap and a half left, I think Kalen is okay. But Danjo opened the P3. He's recovered positions he lost with the pit stop. But he's gaining a second per corner. This might not be over between these two. Kalen has to drive slow to save his tyres. And look, I mean, he's gained nearly 2 seconds in 3 corners. That could be something to watch towards the end. That could get very interesting. But I think Kalen is. I mean, he has 1% ERS, so I think he's okay. But Danjo gaining rapidly. As 4-star is nearly 20 seconds clear at the front. So he's
incredible.
checked out. But Craig's still there.
It's not every day you see 20 seconds between, 25 seconds between the top 3. I mean, Kalen's only just crossing the line, which I find quite incredible, I'll be so honest.
And Danjo has caught him so fast. Sofian is getting overtaken by Cavonus.
Yeah, so looking at Sofian's fuel, I think he's realised he's not going to make the end of the race. He's got 1.2 laps of fuel, and I think he's just let 4-star past, which he has, so that's going to save him, which would be why he slowed down so much.
That is smart, but look at Danjo, 2.6, one more to 4-star here, is he's so far clear of everyone else. 4-star, he got a penalty last race, just everyone met the road, and he said, post-race, if he didn't have a penalty, he'd be fighting for the win. He's proven everyone right today. I'll give him on the battle for a second, because that's very close towards the end of this race. So 4-star has absolutely dominated this race, and he comes around the final corner to win round 2 here in Zandvoort, and such a convincing drive from him. And he's managed to hold on to P1 there with 22 seconds of race, and I think Kagan will be okay, just about. The gap's down under a second. I think he'll be fine. He has the ERS. He'll be okay. Kagan on 24 lap old hard. A great drive from him to get P2. And Danjo just behind him there. If Danjo had one more lap, he would have easily gotten him. But Danjo in 3rd. Craigo in 4th. And Loy in 5th. Out up down. Irvin in 5th. And Loy gets 6th. It'll be Strauss all the way back as Sophie and Diddy and Ruben have already crossed the line. They were knocked down with Strauss. He'll be P7. I mean, considering all the mistakes and the wing damage he had in this race, that isn't a bad thing at all. Hobbsy, his race had promised, and then he spawned. He's across line 8. Atom will score some points this race. He lost the line for 9th, but Hobbs coming off the line.
Yeah, Mike seems to be cutting out quite a bit. Tobes getting the position on Atom. I'm not sure if that's a visual glitch, but Tobes seems to have shot up the order. I don't know if Atom had a sensor component or
Atom
the
did
car
have
behind had a
something, I
sensor
believe.
component
So.
there.
And the protection, I do believe. So there you go. Definitely a different climate. I mean, I find it entertaining race, but entertaining for different reasons. I think compared to Bahrain, but 4-star wins and convincingly wins this race. In fairness to Danjo, from P12 up into third and was literally 6 tenths away from P2. Not a bad drive at all. And unfortunately, the only person we can get in for interviews would be 4-stars because Kaylin and Danjo are not on PlayStation. So if you want to see a 4-star, want to join us for an interview
Let's have a look.
after the race. But yeah, good race. Your full running order is 4-star and P1. From 5th on the grid, great drive from him. Kaylin will be happy with P2 in the end, considering his towards the end of the race how much his tires seem to die. Danjo, good drive from him to get to 3rd. Then Craigo, much improved from him this season, up and forward. Irvin in 5th, and Loy in 6th. Strauss 7th, Hobbsy 8th, Toes 9th, Atom 10th, Cavallo 7th, and Sofian is your last point scorer in 12th. And there's Diddy and Wilban and in 14th, and then your DNFs are Jamie, Hedge, Rapid, and Rafa. So that's your running order after a great race, and we're hoping 4-star can join us for interviews.
I am trying to find him right now. Quickly. There he is.
If you can, we do understand.
He is on his way. He does, as always, like a good interview, which, to I don't blame him, it's been a long race. Not as warm as last race. Last race was a very warm race in real life. Quite a difficult one to keep calm in.
Yeah.
I know in the comms box I did have quite a few drinks with me because it was just too humid. However, I do believe 4-star is in the comms box now.
Hello.
He is indeed, so we'll get started because he's the only one who can interview. 4-star, I mean, pretty dominant from you today. Just take us through that race from your perspective.
Right call on the safety car, as you all take the mick out of me for so often. It's kind of planned my strategy, giving me the option to pit when I did, and it kind of got me the lead. And then a bit of a gap on Caden. He had all the tyres. He made a mess of it, to be quite honest, because we did a practice race with him last night, and he was 10 times quicker than me. So that was his race to lose tonight, and he lost it.
Yeah, you're pretty right there. Now, I heard from a wild free fall that you've said to him post race in Bahrain that if you hadn't got your penalty last week, then you would have been right up there. You've definitely proven that right tonight. Do you have ambitions of a championship fight this season?
Absolutely. The closest I've been in tier 2 before was I finished level on points with an old ghost of CRL, which was Panda. And that was in about, I don't know, season 2 or 3 or something. So I finished level on points, but I missed out on countback. And then since then I've been in tier 3. I won tier 3 and then back to tier 2. So yeah, kind of a bit of unfinished business, I guess. And I can't let free fall win, can I?
That's very true. That's very true. Next week, we're going to, I believe it's reverse Silverstone, so it'll be a new experience for all of us. Are you expecting much from that, or?
No, I think it's a stupid idea. I don't run any assists, I run no line or anything, and now I've got to learn a new track that doesn't exist in real life. So no, not looking forward to that at all.
It's a fair point. It's a fair point. Any questions, to you, Harry?
I was going to quickly go back to the fuel. Were you worried about your fuel though? Because we did notice and we did comment a few times on it. Were you worried at any point?
Yes, most of the race until the VSC, because again in the practice race, the kind of dry run I did last night, I do a dry run so I can figure out tyre usage and fuel usage, and I gained fuel. So I kind of started with equal level of fuel to level of laps, and tonight for some reason it I burnt fuel, so it was a worry. But kind of assumed there would be a safety car at some point, so I didn't start saving in the hope there'd be a safety car, and there was.
Fair enough. I mean, it gives us a good insight into Tier 1 on Thursday, because I have not touched the track since last game. And by the looks of it, the final corner looks quite difficult to get around without spinning. There was a few cars that seemed to spin and have a few collisions there, which it confused me slightly.
Well, I think that the main thing to not do badly is to not get a speeding in the pit lane penalty, as we discovered tonight. I don't know what everybody was doing.
I think it was like
but
9 or 10 in total or something like that.
half of them were in the party with me, and we took the mick out of the first person that did it, and then everybody else then proceeded to do it. Yeah, so it's great.
I don't know if it's something you want to pass on for further races, but Zandvoort is a slower pit lane by 10 kilometers an hour.
They all knew. We've all practiced it. You know what it is? It's because they were running a stupid line and relying on the line, and they think that's what did it for them. So kind of karma, really, I guess.
Well, if we're struggling here, not downhill pit lane in a Silverstone reverse is not going to be fun for them. In the slightest, that's for sure.
Yeah, not looking forward to it.
Yeah, but thank you for joining us, James, and congrats on your P1 and good luck for next week.
Thank you very much.
And that is all from us from round 2. Once again, thank you to Harry for joining me.
You are very much welcome.
It was a pleasure having you alongside you. Yeah, so on Thursday you'll see us Tier 1 sweats. I take on this track, which should be eventful. I'm not excited, and from what I can tell, I don't think Harry is either. But for Tier 2, it'll be next week where it'll be the first time we're ever going to race a reverse track. I believe it's the only reverse race this season. I don't think we're doing Austria or Zandvoort, so it'll be the one-time thing this season, a reverse track. So I hope you can join us same time next week, 8 o'clock on a Monday. Don't miss it. Should be in for another round of great action. Obviously, a new experience for all of us, so it should be fun. But thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you all next week.